Alright, everyone, we are live. Just a second. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another session of episode of Soul to Soul Sessions with AB. That's me, Amit Bhutani, on a nice Sunday evening, nice rainy Sunday, chilled out evening. And this is session number 6. And I'm so happy with the overwhelming response, all the viewers have given me. And it's been really encouraging and positive for me to use this platform to share information with everyone. So what I do with Soul to Soul sessions is basically I get in experts from various fields, who are experts in their field related to physical well-being, mental and emotional well-being, and spiritual well-being. So we look at health, in all very holistically. Hi, Michelle. So basically, starting from the first episode or the session or discussions that we had people talking about nutritions and supplements. Then we moved on to intermittent fasting and diets and fitness. Then we moved on to mental well-being and mental strength in this time of this current pandemic. And then we moved on to a really interesting topic called tarot science and how it's helped in healing internally. Last or a week before last, we had an interesting session on Nadi Pariksha, which is basically pulse diagnosis, and that was really an interesting session. We had some practical exercises that were also demonstrated. And today we have an interesting topic, basically, and no one has not been exposed to this. It's about body pain. Yeah, different types of pain we have experienced throughout our life, whether it's pulsating pain, stabbing pain, acute pain, a steady low grade pain, constant pain. So we're going to discuss with a really good expert in this field, Dr. Rashi Khatri Punjabi, and we're going to have some interesting sessions on this. And I request all the viewers, if you have any questions, we'll try and address all of them in this session. So please post them here, and we'll take it up with Dr. Rashi Khatri Punjabi. So give me a second and I will get Dr. Rashi Khatri Punjabi right live, which is waiting for Rashi. Hi
Hi Amit,
Rashi, how are you?
I am very well. How are you?
Very, 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 very,
Can you
very well
can you
actually.
s- can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay,
I'm
super.
okay. I mean, you can hear me well. All right.
All good.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
firstly.
Amit.
No, I want to thank you because I just wanted to tell you a bit about what I'm trying to do here. So, in basically soul to soul sessions, what I do is I get in experts from various fields related to physical health, whether it's mental health or emotional health and well-being, and physical well-being. So, kind of looking at health in a very holistic kind of an approach, and I'm using this platform to share knowledge, on these types of alternative healing, with everyone that I can. So, thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing and using all your knowledge to be able to help people. That's what we are here for. And I'm glad we are going to be able to talk to more people today and tell them about pain as well, not only physical, but pain from your entire body's perspective. I've known Amit for almost all of my life. And it's great to see him doing this. So I'm very happy to be here, Amit, with you.
Trying to follow this, which I was kind of procrastinating and delaying it for a long time, but I said, I think COVID has kind of pushed me into this. to follow my
Absolutely.
passion. So, for all the viewers who are joining in, let me tell you a background on Dr. Rashi Khatri Punjabi. She has done her MD from the Rutgers University, New York, USA. You have a super specialization and fellowship in orofacial pain. That is basically, correct me if I'm wrong, any pain related to the neck, face, head, inside your mouth. Yeah. And
Not
also,
inside my mouth, everything outside.
okay, everything outside. And on something which is called as PMG disorders, which is
Yes,
temporomandibular, which is related to the jaw, connecting to the
that's your
skull
jaw joint.
and the muscle and the
Yes,
joints around it. Uh, I've done a little bit of my homework. So, and you also the youngest diplomat of the American Board of Orofacial Pain. That is amazing. And you have lectured extensively on and researched extensively on pain and sensory changes in HIV positive patients at various international conferences. International Association of Dental Research is one of them. International Association for the Study of Pain and the American Academy of Orofacial Pain. Yeah. That is amazing, Rashi. And then you returned back to
thank you.
Mumbai in 2008, and you founded the Center of Orofacial Pain in India. And currently, Rashi is a consultant for pain management and headaches at the PD Hinduja Hospital in Mahim and at Mind Temple, Juhu.
Right.
Wow, that's
Thank you,
awesome,
Amit,
Rashi. And
for
since I
such
know
a
you,
generous.
no, I mean, it is so amazing of what you've achieved, and it gives me pride, to have you on the session with me, and we're going to discuss something which is really interesting and common, and everyone has been exposed to this in their life. Yeah,
I'm really glad we are here together. The aim is to help as many people as possible. If there's even one person that learns something new from our conversation today, then that's a victory. That's a path of healing for that one person, and that's good enough. That's going to
absolutely,
be what we're going
absolutely,
to start with.
absolutely, right on. So let's get in right to the basics and grassroots, Rashi. What is this bodily pain that we experience? What is pain per se?
Correct. So, guys, there's not one person on planet Earth who hasn't experienced pain, right? If I ask anybody what is the most common symptom that anybody has experienced who is currently on the planet, the most common one would be pain. Most of us, whenever we have any kind of pain, we feel a lot of discomfort. We feel, अरे बाबा वापस हो गया, मुझे headache हो गया, मेरी पीठ में दर्द हो रहा है, मेरे घुटने में दर्द हो रहा है, right? So pain is
Yeah,
something that we all have dealt with at some point in our life, and most of us look
absolutely.
at pain as something that is uncomfortable, something that we don't enjoy, something that we have to very quickly shut down, something that's taking away from what we want to do.
Yeah,
However, pain is your body's kindness. Pain is your body communicating to you to be able to protect you. Pain is your body's support system, which is going to be able to tell you what is the way towards wellness, towards health. So, anytime any of us experience pain, as much as we may not like it is our body's way of reaching out to us to draw our attention to something that needs to be looked after. Let me
yeah,
give you a small example. Now,
sure.
I'm sitting on the chair in front of you. If I
Yeah,
fall off this chair and suppose I break my hand, okay? I hope I don't manifest something like this, but suppose I fall
yeah,
down and I break my hand,
yeah,
my pain is going to tell me the level of urgency with which I have to look after myself. If there is a lot
correct,
of pain, I'll immediately know that, oh my God, maybe I have broken my hand. Let me quickly figure out what is the root cause of this pain and let me look after that. If the
yeah,
pain is only for a few seconds and it goes away, maybe I'll examine my hand and I'll be like, Acha, it's just a bruise or it's just a pull. So your pain is always a communication to you, correct?
correct,
But what we'll end up doing, we are creatures of comfort. What
yeah,
we'll end up doing whenever we have any kind of discomfort in our life is instead of shutting down and trying to listen to what your body is communicating with you, most of us tend to switch off that pain by the use of, which is not my favorite medication, although I'm a pain management specialist, are painkillers, right? We immediately try to pop in that painkiller and subdue or suppress what our body is communicating to us rather than figure out what is the root cause of that. Now, if you and me, if we fall down and we have broken our hand, if I pop in that Combiflam or that paracetamol or that Enzoflam or that Spasma Proxivon or that Ultrasec, whatever, the choice is yours.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
4 hours, that medicine actually goes and switches off my brain from recognizing where the signal of pain is coming from. But it doesn't necessarily look after the root cause or the source of the pain. So medications which can numb your sensation out but not help you in the long run are
Yeah.
what are painkillers. So if we had to help anyone with pain, the first thing is what I tell them is that throw away those painkillers and let's sit down and figure out what is the root cause of that pain, what is the root cause of that discomfort, what is the communication from your body that you're missing out on. So
Yeah.
even if it's a headache, now I have gone to people's house, and you know how it is. You're sitting in a group of friends and you're probably enjoying a meal together. And then there'll be that one person who will be like, listen, I'm not having a good time. And you'll ask them, why, what's wrong? Why are you not enjoying yourself? And they'll be like, because I have a headache. And immediately the host of whoever's house you have gone to will literally bring out a thali, like how they had set up a buffet of food. They'll set up a buffet of, they'll come out with that little pouch, and they'll be like, oh, I also have Combiflam, I also have Enzoflam, I also have paracetamol, I also have paracetamol pain. So
Yeah.
even for headaches, there are no normal headaches. All headaches are aches, pains in which your body, not necessarily your head, but in which your body is communicating to you to
Yeah.
tell you that, Baba, you need to look after me.
Look after it. Yeah.
Now, you and me are intelligent creatures. We know that if my hand breaks and if I take a Combiflam, for 4 hours, even I will not be able to feel my hand pain,
And-
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually, we know that just popping a Combiflam is not going to cure that fractured hand.
Absolutely.
Till that bone is not realigned, till my body doesn't heal itself, till my body doesn't become whole, my pain is going to be my signal. But the moment the body becomes whole, the pain goes away, correct? So
Correct.
then we go to an orthoped and say, chalo, chalo, jaldi plaster dalo, because we know that that's the quickest way to align the body.
Yeah.
But for things that we cannot see, like headaches, like body pains, we think that there is no way out of it. So let me keep taking that painkiller without figuring out what it is that my body is trying to talk to me. So anyone who's listening in today, if you are relying on common painkillers, there is no normal headache. With age, there is no normal back pain. There is no normal ghutne ka dard. You know, you are a Sindhi, I am a Sindhi. I know some of the people who are listening in are Sindhis. There is no puthi jo sur and godan jo sur. Any kind of pain is your body's communication. And if you don't listen to that communication, you are not helping your body. You're just stopping or you're just killing the messenger. So imagine there is a courier wala coming to your house to tell you that अच्छा आपके घर में ये चीज जरूरी है, and you shoot the courier wala every time he comes. That's what you're doing is a very pointless exercise.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. And,
So,
and
yeah.
you so very well put it, because anytime if you land up with a pain and all, you are like, oh God, what's wrong? Oh, what's wrong? I don't want to attend to it. Like you rightly said, switch off. Let me take a painkiller and like just shut off. So I don't think or worry about it and go on. It's an age about Google and quick fixes, and everyone wants everything so quickly. And you rightly and beautifully said it, that it's body's way of communicating with you, it's body's language, and you need to take care of it.
Amit, it's not only pain. Here today, guys, we have come in to talk about pain, but even for things like acidity, because these are common ailments, right?
Yeah.
How many of us try to figure out why do we have the acidity? Yeah, you'll make excuses for yourself. Arey, kal maine achar khaya, kal maine butter chicken khaya. That's why I have the acidity. No.
Yeah.
Not every person who eats achar and butter chickens gets acidity. Acidity is also your body communicating to you.
Okay.
And what do? Antacid. We take something to kill the acidity. So then what will happen after 3 days? Again, you will get acidity. And then after 5 months, you'll say, मुझे acidity की problem है. जी नहीं, आपको सिर्फ आपकी बॉडी की ना सुनने की प्रॉब्लम है. So if
Yeah.
you look after that, you
Yeah.
will not have to suffer from what we see are common symptoms. Correct?
Correct.
So
Correct.
I'm glad you and I get to talk about it.
I know, and you're kind of always looking out for the solution to take care of the symptom rather than you say go to the cause of it. And once you go to the root and the cause of it and try and solve it there and there, that's exactly the way it should be.
Right. So for any kind of symptom that your body presents,
Yeah.
the main thing is to figure out. Sometimes Dr. Google doesn't help always because Dr. Google doesn't understand. Since you mentioned Google, I want to say something over here because I think this is something that everyone should know. Medical science has advanced tremendously, correct? We have specialists for the stomach. We have specialists for the stomach, the pipe that leads. We have esophageal specialists. We have specialists who are anal specialists. We have specialists of a certain part of your heart. We have specialists.
Yeah.
So all of us, because we are so prone to it, we think that because there are so many specialists, we also
Yeah.
sometimes tend to think that our body is in so many pieces, right? We forget
Absolutely. Yeah.
to address the fact that our body is not a koi bag or a sack, a gunny bag of all these different organs.
Yeah.
All your physical organs, from the skin on your toenail to the top of your crown, physically come together to make you. So you cannot think that a problem, मुझे पेट की acidity है, but it is nowhere connected to the pain that you're probably feeling in your finger. Your entire body acts as one, correct? And yeah, I'm happy to go into
You have
more
to look at
details
it.
of
You
it.
have to look at it as a whole. It's not a mechanical. I mean, normal. I think several decades ago, it was you're looking at your body in a more mechanistic point of view. This is the part you kind of take care of it, but you have to look at the body, as you rightly said, as a whole. And you need to treat it as a whole or living organism. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so I'm
Next
glad you
is a
brought
very
that up.
interesting question. Sorry.
Yes. No. Please ask me.
No, I wanted to find out a lot of questions that I got asked was now, how do you distinguish between an acute and a chronic pain? What is the difference, if there is any?
Okay. So even before we go ahead, Amit, I want to explain something. Yeah, because
Sure.
when we were figuring out what would be a good or an informative talk for everyone to share with
Yeah.
everyone, I told you that let's talk about pain from a physical perspective. And a lot
Yeah.
of people who, when they saw the poster, they told me, "Oh, what do you mean by physical pain?" So I want to just explain why we decided to go that
Sure.
before I get into your question, if that's cool with
Sure.
you.
Sure.
So and it pretty much aligns with what we were talking about 5 minutes ago as well. So guys, all of us, Amit, me, you, I hope you all are interacting and you all are able to examine your body as we talk as well. But all of us have a physical body, right? Tangible physical body. So when you say, I weigh so much, oh, you've lost weight, oh, you're looking good. What you are talking about is the physical body, right? This is your
Yeah.
physical body, right? But
Yeah.
your physical body cannot work, cannot be independent of your emotional body, your logical mind or your mental body, and what makes you you, which is your consciousness. Now, there are parts of religion which call it your spiritual body. There is somebody, Deepak Chopra calls it the God particle, whatever. The consciousness, your soul, what makes you you. Now, our physical body is what we can touch, what we can feel. When we move, you can see the purze, the machinery, correct? Your emotional body are your feelings that make you you. So if you weigh yourself, you can't weigh your emotional body. But if you are very, very sad, then the food that you eat as an emotional need will make your physical body go bigger, correct? So
Yeah.
your emotional body are your feelings. I feel good. I feel sad. I'm extremely physically fit, but I'm feeling very sad today. So that sadness, what you feel is your emotional body. What your logical aspect is your intellect. Now, how do I go from Khar to Bandra? I may not have any emotions about it. I may be emotional about the traffic that I'll feel, that I'll experience on the way. But just the logic of going from here to there, the storage of information is your intellect. And then what makes you you? Now, pain is not a physical experience only, right? Pain is an experience which is felt at all four levels. We will be getting into that in a while also, because I know that's something that interests Amit. But now what we are doing when we are talking about the different kinds of pain as acute or chronic, we are getting more into the physical aspect of pain, right? So I will definitely get into that as well. But right now, let's talk about the physical body. So when we talk about pain, I mean, coming back to the lovely question that you asked me, but when we're talking about pain, all pain is an experience. And if I were to look at the scientific definition of pain, pain is an experience of discomfort due to either a potential damage or an actual damage that has happened to the body. I'm going to break it up. Okay. But I always put in these analogies to make it simpler so that everyone can understand, right? So pain is your body's response to some injury. So let me give you an example. So now suppose one bee flies into this room and the bee thinks that I am a flower. Okay, so it decides to give me a bee bite. Suppose it gives me a sting. Immediately over there, my skin will swell up. It will become red. It will be warm to touch. I will feel a lot of pain over there and I will not be able to probably move my hand because it will be uncomfortable. So that kind of pain, which comes because of some danger, some trauma, some stimuli, some foreign body, is the pain which is acute in nature, and it is a part of inflammation. Correct? So even if you're going to get fever, you will feel a little bit pain in your throat, but at the same time, all the other stuff will also happen. Your temperature will go up. You'll feel redness in some part of your body. There'll be some loss of function. You'll feel lethargic, right? So when all of these come together, this is inflammation, and that is excellent pain because it immediately tells us. So if this is an iron, and if I go and touch the iron, the fact that I touch the iron and it burns me, I get a chatka, I get some pain over here. It is my body's immediate response to tell me that move away, protect, fight or flight. Either you become hotter than the iron or become colder than the iron to combat it, or you fly, remove your hand out of that position so that your body knows that this is something that needs to be protected, needs your body to be protected from. So when I give you the example of falling down and breaking the hand, even that, the swelling, the redness, you can't move your hand and there'll be pain, is acute pain. Acute pain comes for a short while. It's always accompanied by these symptoms that I told you. That is the change in temperature, function. There will be some redness in that area, right? And there will be pain. But the moment that injury is looked after, the moment the stimulus goes away, the body calms itself down naturally without us having to do any normal treatment per se. Okay, so if your hand it is a warning signal, of course, but if your hand is set in a plaster, those two bones join, your the swelling goes away, the redness goes away, the temperature comes down, you're able to use that hand more, and the pain goes away as well. Correct? We've all experienced this. Whether it's a finger cut or touching something hot, all of us have experienced acute pain. Now, acute pain is not the problem. When pain continues in spite of there being no stimuli, right? Such as migraines, headaches, neck pain, back pain, knee pain, you're not doing anything differently. There is no external stimuli. There is no injury. When that pain goes beyond a certain time and becomes a part of your lifestyle, becomes a part of your body as an ongoing background pain which never goes away, which could be of a high intensity, low intensity, doesn't matter. that is chronic pain. In this case, the pain is the disease itself, and there is no actual external stimuli which is initiating the pain.
There's nothing from
So that's
outside. There is
there
no
is no
external stimulus.
external. There is no external stimuli. All signs of inflammation have gone away, and still the pain continues. Then that is chronic pain. Now, if somebody were to very simplistically look at it, they would say chronic pain is long-term pain, which goes on and on. And of course, it can be of various kinds. It can be a sharp shooting pain. It can be dull, achy pain. It can be a throbbing pain. It can be a burning, searing pain. So there are lots and lots of varieties of chronic pain. But yeah, when it goes on beyond, without an external stimuli, that would be chronic pain. So yeah, that's the difference between acute pain and chronic pain.
So very well differentiated. But now when you're getting a chronic pain or you're suffering from a chronic pain, that also means your body is communicating with you something. Something is wrong.
Yes.
Now it's internally within, something from within. So of course, instead of avoiding it, you need to take drastic action or go to experts like yourself and kind of address it not only at the symptom level but also at the root cause level. Correct?
Right. So what for any kind of chronic pain, we don't look at it only from the physical aspect. You can't.
Yeah.
Chronic pain is a physical change in the body which is being maintained by the physical changes that have happened. So if we have to break it down, how scientific can I go? Very scientific? Because I know there are lots of people who are watching who are also sports enthusiasts. So I want them to understand that the pain that they may be feeling every time I lift so and so, I get this kind of cramping or I get so and so pain in my body, and then it'll go away. But again, I have a weak shoulder. So then you label yourself as having a weak shoulder or a bad neck or a bad back. So now that is chronic pain. And why that happens is because your body has made some changes. You haven't addressed those changes. You have tried to look after it superficially, and then those changes become into a permanent part of your body and become into a standard. So your body thinks this is my new normal. However, and then as generally we as Indians, because this is, and Mumbaikars even more, we feel like, chalo, goli lo, kaam pe chalo, or this is a normal part of my life. I always get a bad back. Or every 3 years you will hear of that one person, acha, that one's back is very bad, no, so she can't come out or whatever. And you're like, acha, bichari, and we continue with life. Correct? Our aim then is to not ignore that pain or rely on that pain pattern, but to reverse it.
So that
and
was
the reversal will happen by the diagnosis.
That was the question by one of the users who said, how do we go to the root cause of this chronic pain and how do we address that?
So there is, if I had the entire gamut of chronic pain would probably take us about 6 years, because that's how long it took me to understand chronic pain, even in a trained medical environment. But I can tell you some of the common chronic pains that people experience physically, and maybe that will give you an insight into your own body. Okay, so there are so many people. Let's talk about muscular pain, because there are so many people who may have logged in today who may have neck pains, who may have back pain, who may have knee pain, right? So I'm going to tell everyone to do this really fun, simple exercise with me. There are most of us who love, and I know this because Amit, I have seen you as a friend and as a patient. So I actually, and God is kind, I have a good memory. But I want everyone to hold out their pincers. Okay, think of your hands like crab hands. Okay, and I want us to sort of gently just massage our neck muscles. So I want you to go all the way from your ear into your shoulders and very gently massage your muscles, and tell me if you feel any kind of that sweet pain, or you feel any kind of those lumps or knots in your neck. You may feel them at the back of your neck. You may feel them in your shoulder. You may feel them in your arm. You may even feel them in your lower back. Most of us will tell, at least over here, I know you have them over here as well, but over here, you will feel these little lumps or these little knots or these little swirls of muscles sitting over there, correct? Now, every single person will tell you that, Arey, this is a normal, I love to get massaged, or when I get very stressed, I get pain over here. It's normal, sabko hota hai. Guys, it's
Yeah.
not normal. Now, for all of us, just to give you an example, this is just one example of chronic pain. For all of us, our heads are about 10 kgs without the hair, without the teeth, without the earrings, without any glasses. Just our skull is 10 kgs. Now, that 10 kg skull is attached to our body by means of a spine. Your spine starts over here and goes all the way to your bum, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in your neck, in this region, there are barely 6 rings of bones that support your head to the rest of the body, correct? Now imagine if I had to take something so heavy. Now this is not even heavy. This is a very, very light airpods. But imagine I was to take something which was 10 kgs and put it on top of something which was straight, correct? Oops. And it would fall because gravity is way more powerful, correct? But our head doesn't fall in spite of it being 10 kgs. Think of a bowling ball. Now multiply that by 5. That would be 10 kgs. And think of that sitting on a broomstick because that's the level of support our spine is offering. This bowling ball will not be able to sit on the broomstick. It will fall, correct?
Yeah.
But our head doesn't fall. And the reason it doesn't fall is because we have a very strong support structure of muscles which start from our chest, from our arms, from our lower back. They go upwards, they crisscross at your neck and get attached to your head. So if I'm doing something as simple as this, you all can do it along with me. You all will notice that there is a muscle which is stretching all the way from my arms, going across my neck. You all can even see the muscle going behind my ear and taking attachment on top of my head over here. Right? You can feel it. And all the muscles in our body are supposed to be loose, flexible, elastic, and they're very long. Correct? Now, a combination of 72 muscles come together in your upper complex just to keep your head straight, which is why our head remains straight and doesn't go up and down like one of those Jaipur ka gudiyas, right? One of those dolls that we see in Rajasthan. So these muscles are supposed to be loose, flexible, elastic. For any of y'all who could feel those lumps or those knots, y'all actually have what we call trigger points or muscle tight knots in the length or in the center of your muscle. So what should have been, so guys, I took this paper and I tore this out of that. So what should have been loose, flexible, elastic, now suddenly is behaving like a shorter and a way stiffer version of itself, correct? If any of y'all had those lumps over here, please remember, we call it trigger points because they are exactly like the trigger of a gun. If you press the trigger of a gun, the bullet pops out, correct? In this case, if you do any activity, which could be weightlifting, which could be doing push-ups in a wrong way, if anything triggers this point, the pain will spread till where the muscle is attached and not necessarily be felt over here. So pain over here will be felt as a headache over here and will also often lead to dizziness, will often lead to not being able to hold your head up straight, often misdiagnosed as vertigo. This is not true vertigo. This is disequilibrium coming from the neck. So the patient will be put on lots of vertigo medication but not have any improvement and then wonder, God, what's wrong with me? Go and get a brain scan, do 100 other things. But actually the source of the pain is far away from where you're experiencing. You may feel the pain going into your chest, then you'll think, oh my God, I'm getting a heart attack because it's on the left side or the right side, and you'll go and get an ECG. Again, it'll come normal. Yeah. You will feel the pain going into your lower back, into your arms, and all the more reason you think, Arey, this is related to my heart, yeah, do something major.
Yeah.
But all that this chronic pain is muscular. Now, since we're talking about chronic pain, and I wanted to give you an example of one of the chronic pains that a person can experience. In such a case, painkillers is not going to open this out, correct? Because again, painkillers is just stopping your brain from getting the signal. Yeah. I always give this example as well. Imagine if your phone is not working and you go to Vodafone Tower or Airtel Tower or whichever Geo Tower and you decide to cut off the tower. That's what painkillers do, right? They just go to the brain and shut your brain. So if you were to take a Combi Flam and if you had a stomach pain, a finger fracture, a toe, something and a headache, Combi Flam will switch off everything. Not because it's looking after anything. It's just because it's stopping your brain from getting the reception. So in chronic pain conditions like this, specific to these kind of points, none of this will be looked after by muscle painkillers. What it will be looked after will be by opening this out. Now, all of those of you all who felt it and said, I loved it, I like the massage that I gave myself, all that you were doing was making this slightly flat for now. But in 3 hours, it will come back. And now when it will come back, it's a dheed bacha. It will come back even stronger. It will come back even more. And whatever it is touching upon will also get pulled along with it. So yeah, this is a small example of chronic pain. And in trying to treat it or relieve it, till you don't get to the root cause, till you don't get to the communication from your body, you're not going to be able to reverse it. And in talking about communication to the body, I know you were very keen to talk about it. I know one of your questions to me is coming up related to the communication. So I'm waiting to hear that from you, Amit. Please tell me.
No. Go ahead. Since we're in this interesting part, please go ahead.
So, so our body communicates to us not only physically, right? Chronic pain has so many layers to it. So, if you had to treat this, you can't treat it only at a physical body level. Treating it at a physical body level is going to give you very, very skewed results. Of course, you need to treat it at the physical body level also. But you have to recognize that you as an individual who is sitting right now in front of the screen is emoting, thinking, living human body being, right? So
Absolutely.
Till we don't address it, doctors have a very bad rep. A lot of people wrongly believe that, oh, my doctor just throws medicines at me and that's it. You will be very shocked, but in that limited time with you, your doctor has to manage all 4 of your bodies in order to figure out what's going on and to help you adequately.
And it's so good to see that doctors like you are there, which, don't only go to at the superficial level, but go, deep dive inside. And I could so very well relate to what you were talking about, the neck pain, because that's similar to what I had gone through when I was in Dubai. And no one there had an idea of what was happening. And so Dr. Rashi Khatri here kind of bounced in, and it was just couple of an X-ray, and you diagnosed it immediately after the X-ray, and here I am back normal, running, jogging, exercising, and doing everything that I used to do. So thank you so much for that. I just wanted to put
Not
that
at
in
all. Amit, I want you to remember that, when you used to call me from Dubai, you used to tell me, will I be able to drive a car again? Will I be able to run again? And I don't think I've seen you fitter, happier, more in alignment with your path right now. And I think I was the traffic signal man, just telling you that ye road par jana hai, but the choice to walk on that road is completely yours.
Thank you so much. So we like how you said, we spoke about, you're talking about pain at the emotional level and at the consciousness level. So there was a question put forth, and that was actually I was going to ask you now. Does pain also come from emotional states that we go through? And an important part in today's day and age is, chronic stress that we're exposed to. We are constantly exposed to the fight or flight situation. I mean, like you rightly said, if there is an immediate, you're touching a hot iron and you get a body response, it's an immediate flight response, and then the body settles down in a state of homeostasis, if I got that word correct.
Homeostasis,
but now we are
right.
And now in today's day and age and environment where there's an information overload, everything needs to happen quickly. We are in a constant state of the stress and fight or flight situation. Now, of course, that stress leads to manifestations as pain in your physical body. So that I wanted to address that.
So it's an excellent question that you've asked me, but I'm going to break it up, okay? Because a lot of people who have chronic stress, let's go even one step before that. A lot of people who have chronic pain very often. Now, imagine if you had a root canal in your mouth, but you go from dentist to dentist to dentist to dentist, and no dentist can tell you that you have a root canal in your mouth. And imagine by the 5th dentist, if somebody tells you that, "Arey, tum sochte bahut ho na, isliye tumko ye dard ho raha hai," and you're like, you come back home and you tell your wife, listen, are they crazy? I'm actually feeling the pain. I'm not imagined this pain. But the fifth dentist or the seventh dentist eventually will write a prescription for a psychiatrist and tell you that ये तुम imagine कर रहे हो तो तुम psychiatrist के पास चले जाओ. And so a lot of times people who have it's unfortunate, and I'm going to tell you why. Pain management is not taught as a specialization in India yet. Okay, it's not taught. There are it's not a MD specialization in India yet, how it is in the rest of the world. Okay, like it is like if you wanted to deliver a baby, you will go to a gynecologist, right? You will not go to a GP who has maybe delivered 1 or 2 children. You will go to a gynecologist. So unfortunately in India, they don't teach pain management. Okay. There are a lot of very abled, great anesthetists because the patients are suffering. They have been using anesthesiology knowledge to help people relieve their pain by doing pain blocks, etc. But the training of pain management is not there. As a result of this, a lot of patients who have chronic pains go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor trying to look for solutions. And when that happens, not getting a solution or figuring out why you have the chronic pain can give you a lot of stress also. Okay. Not being told what's wrong and how we can put you on the road to recovery can put you in a state of hopelessness, especially since it's been, so like I told you, chronic pain goes on for a really long time. So even imagine for 6 months, if you had a stomach pain and nobody can tell you why you have your stomach pain. And eventually tells you that, boss, you have to imagine it, huh? ये तो तुम बहुत सोच रहे हो, इसीलिए हो रहा है. And a lot of times, and you'll be shocked, but a lot of my referrals come from psychologists who will tell me that, listen, nothing is wrong with the patient. The patient is absolutely okay mentally. Well, they have normal stresses, which everybody has. So, but there's nothing so crazy. So just because somebody has a long history of symptoms that were not looked after, please do not disbelieve chronic pain. That's number one. Number two, and I will get into this in 2 aspects, but physically, pain is a sign of a change in the body, like we spoke about earlier, correct? If you were sitting in, I mean, throw out your favorite holiday destination to me. Just tell me throw out a word, throw out a city.
Ladakh, Leh Ladakh.
Okay. So imagine you're in Ladakh. You're sitting with your family by this amazing bonfire and you're having your Maggie and it's cold and you can see the peaks and you're sitting over there and you're really having a really good time and you fall down and you break your hand. Okay. In Ladakh, your pain of your hand being broken is going to be a 8 on 10. Correct? Now imagine you're at home in your own house, you're in the lockdown and there is no help at home and there is massive stress at work and there's a lot of issues and there's a lot of emotional thrust in your life right now and you fall down and you break your hand. The amount of pain that your body will produce in Ladakh, in the most beautiful setting, and in Bombay, in the most rubbish setting, in a socially constrained, quarantined environment, will be the same. It will be 8 on 10 in both locations. Your body's production of the pain chemicals will be the same. What your perception of the pain would be depending on your mental status and your environment and your coping skills, right? So in Ladakh, maybe if your coping skills are poor, you may say that, oh shit, in the middle of the holiday, I have broken my hand, and feel differently about the physical pain. Whereas in Bombay, you might be like, हाँ, as it is, मैं तो घर पे ही हूँ. Or, oh my God, ये क्यों हुआ? एक और चीज. But basically, your body's perception will change what you feel about the pain, but your body's pain production levels are the same. Right? Correct. So nobody can, there are cases, but I would say out of 10,000 people, 3 or 4 people, where there are actual psychosomatic disorders that they are mentally going through, where they can imagine, where their mind is powerful enough to completely physically manifest a level of pain. Now, I'm not got into the spiritual aspect of it at all. I'm just saying There are certain mental conditions, disorders in which you can do that as well, but that is very few and far in between, and there would be a lot of psychological overlay also. So if somebody has, say, a somatoform disorder, which is something in which they can actually make their body undergo a physical experience, you would also see another 20 other psychiatric symptoms associated. It wouldn't be random. It's not like you're a happy person, but there are so many of us who undergo chronic pain, and so many people who are told that you're imagining it. I know you were told also, right? So you're stressing too much now, that's why all of this is happening. And you were like, are you all crazy? Like, I have pain, I have dizziness, I can't move. And people are like, stress kam karo, sab theek ho jayega, right?
Exactly.
And you were like, you would call me up and say, I'm not stressed, boss, but I cannot move myself. Like, there has to be something more. And so eventually listening to your body, and I love it because patients are persistent. Patients have patience. Oh, wow, I'm so poetic. But there are, because if you are suffering, you will seek an answer. You will want to know what's going on. And so patients will look, and finally, when some of the patients who they reach out to me eventually, sometimes that I want to help as many people as I can, but there are the people who finally reach out, they'll be like, why didn't somebody tell me that all I had was that one nerve which is pinched over here? Because the moment we open the pinch, suddenly their stress has gone. No, the stress is still there, but the pain has gone.
Pain has gone.
Right?
Correct.
And they are like, my life has not changed, but this pain definitely has gone away. So constant pain can contribute to your stressors. Not knowing why you don't have pain can contribute to your stressors, can make life very, very tough for you. Your family not supporting you and believing you, your loved ones not being there for you. And pain can't be seen, right? Pain is what you say it is, when you say it is. So it is easy for the other person not to acknowledge what you're going through. But you have to forgive them.
Then it forms like a vicious circle. The pain causing the stress relief,
it's horrible.
The stress feeding into the pain again, and you're going down the water.
Yeah, or eventually it will take away from your quality of life. Like, for example, if somebody has, say, a knee pain and they're just 45 years old, they will be like, now I'm older, so my knee has to pain. No, you're not older. It's in your head. But you need to figure out why your knee is paining and reversing that, because it could just be a muscle pull in your butt and nothing to do with your knee. But the moment you look after that, people suddenly feel that my quality, oh my God, I thought because of the knee pain, I can't sit on the floor, or I couldn't climb steps, but now I'm swimming with my child, or I'm having fun. And it puts you back into a place of living rather than just being. So taking care of chronic pain is extremely important. However old you are, if you travel abroad, you will see like 80-year-olds in mobile wheelchairs, but living a very happy life. And over here at 50 and 60, our parents say, now I am leading a retired life. And we are like, what's wrong with you all?
So very, very, very well explained. And I truly, and I'm sure most of the viewers, but I truly could relate to everything that you were saying, and very, very well put and illustrated. Now, a very interesting point is everyone has been talking about, this intermittent fasting and what should I eat for the gut, and should I avoid gluten, or should I avoid wheat, should I avoid dairy, I need to take care of my gut health. So do you think there is a role of gut in healing even these chronic pain that you just spoke about?
You're absolutely right. And I know why you're asking this. I know you get a lot of flack, and so do I, from your family. Because a part of your healing journey involved me changing a lot of your lifestyles issues. So I want to tell, for any healing, for any physical healing and mental healing, for any healing to happen in our lives, there are three very important factors, right? One is looking after the source of the change in your body. Okay, so I'm going to give you a silly example, but it works, it's effective. Now my one finger looks very different from my other finger, right? But this is my normal. So this is not a change. This is my normal. But if there is a change in your body will, whether it is a change at a muscle level, bone level, cartilage level, if there is a structural change in your body will reach out and produce pain, correct? So rectifying that structural change, like if your hand is broken, rectifying that. If your neck has issues, rectifying that. Rectifying it structural, the structural issue at physical level is a very important part of any healing. Number one. Number two is changing the epigenetics. Now, genetics is what you are born with. You cannot change. You can try to, but you cannot completely rectify it. But changing the environment. So, lifestyle wise, what are you doing which is worsening that structural issue? So, if you are, like, since we spoke about the neck issue earlier, if you are a hairdresser, constantly using your comb or your hair dryer in a particular position, that kind of life, if you're a diamond assorter, sitting and assorting, if you're a surgeon and looking in a particular way, whatever. If you are a computer engineer and sitting like this, just coming on the side to show people, whatever the environmental factor, your professional factor is, which is worsening it, is something that we have to look after. Definitely, we all know that our body's musculature, so again, going back to that example, because it's easy to understand, because it's common. We know that our body responds to any kind of attack by contracting the muscles. So, even if suppose a terrorist enters this room, my first reaction will be to contract. Like, you can see that for me also. My muscles are contracting. That is fight or flight response. So the first response is always protection, and then because I am Bharatiya Nari, Aaj ki Nari, I'm going to fight back. Correct? So that contraction, your mind makes your muscles contract in response to any injury. So even if I take you on top of a hill, I take Jack and Jill on top of a hill and I throw them down, they're not going to come with their arms open. They're going to come with their arms contracted. They're going to squeeze it. So whatever in your environment, whether it is mental, whether it's physical would be the kind of work you do, whether it's mental, the kind of stresses you have which make your muscles contract. We need to look after the external stressors, lifestyle wise. But the third most important thing is that in order for our body to heal, we have to make sure that our body is able to also get the nutrients that the body deserves to be used as building blocks for the body to completely recoup. Now, our body's nutrient absorption happens at your stomach level. But not only at our stomach level, it happens at the full digestive level. So from your stomach till your anus, your body is constantly working. Correct? In your stomach, your body has the capability of seeing your food either as a friend. All foods are friends, but your body may not be able to tolerate some foods and may be able to very well tolerate other foods. And that may be something that's coming from your body's natural tendency and not from an external quality of the food per se. It is your body rejecting and accepting some things better. You know, there are some people who say, "Arey, maine chana khaya, I felt very uneasy. Maine shimla mirchi khaya, I felt very uneasy. I ate 50 rotis and I was fine." So people, somebody in South India may eat a mountain of rice. Somebody in North India will be like, "Itna chawal kaun kha sakta hai?" Correct? But the person in South India may not be able to eat that ghee ka paratha, whatever. But your body has a tendency to absorb or reject certain things which don't work for you. Now, there are tests that, and the moment it can not accept what you are giving it, the stomach will produce inflammation, because that is the stomach's response to what you're putting in. And that gut inflammation doesn't, if something is inflamed, is it going to be able to work? One of the 5 signs of inflammation is loss of function. Correct? We spoke about it. Think about it exactly like the hand fracture. If it was inflamed, there would be redness, there would be heat, there would be pain, there would be loss of function, and there would be rubor, dolor, calor, heat, redness, loss of function, and the fifth one. okay, which I can't remember right now, but which we had spoken about earlier.
Yeah.
So basically, your stomach, if it's in that state of gut inflammation, it is not going to be able to digest even what normally it digests. So you will go into these cycles of constipation or loose motion or feeling uneasy in your stomach after certain meals. But what is actually happening in your body is then your body is not really absorbing the nutrition. And if it's not really absorbing the nutrition, where does it have the adequate forces to help you? So
it's
our
important,
stomach and very, very important, primarily because when we talk about stomach, we say that there'll be so many people, I'm sure there are lots of people who are listening in today who will say, I get acidity related headaches.
Yeah.
So yes, it seems very far-fetched that acidity can give you headaches, but absolutely, your entire body is working as one. So your gut health is going to affect, but why you're getting the headache is what you need to figure out. Whether the headache is coming because the acidity is coming, why the acidity has come, number one, whether you have food intolerances or you have a hypoactive thyroid, or whether there are allergies that you haven't recognized, or because of irregular meal times, we don't know. You need to figure out why you have got it and then work on that. But yes, your gut is very, very responsible for the environment of even muscle healing. Now, you're a runner, you are an athlete by nature, you're a swimmer. When you swim, say 2 kilometers, when you come out, your muscles feel sore, right? Because your body produces lactic acid and butyric acid.
Correct.
Even your muscles produce acid, correct? So your stomach acid production, and if I take 2 dishes, one has acid and one has water, and I put something inside acid and I put the same something inside water, the acid will break down the substance faster than the water, right? And it may break it down, but not necessarily in the best way possible. Now, our stomach acids are excellent because they allow us to digest better. But if our body rejects certain foods, then you're not even digesting it. Then you're just assimilating and trying to throw it out. Which is why I'm a big believer of gut health for chronic pain.
Excellent, yeah. I mean, it's so interesting, and how important it is to look after your gut. And it's, the more you read into it, the more you realize how everything is connected, and where you rightly mentioned that the absorption happened at the gut level. And you take care of your gut, you take care of your body, and the body will take care of you. I mean, amazing. I didn't realize where the time went. We are short on time right now, Rashi. But some interesting discussions and interesting topics. Please tell the viewers how they could reach you, or in what way I could help connect them to you in case of any discomfort or any orofacial pain, or your specialization. Where do they reach out? How do they reach out? Could you please tell the viewers?
So guys, I am available at PD Hinduja Hospital and at Mind Temple, but currently I'm doing only online consultations, which I found is brilliant. I'm on Instagram as Doc Rash, DocRaash. You're welcome to. There are more than one Doc Rashes, so look out for mine. You're welcome to DM me.
Look out for the pretty face.
Listen, even the other Doc Rash is very pretty, so even prettier. But yeah, but look out for the pain stuff. I'm happy to help all of y'all. My aim in life is to make as many people as possible, render them pain-free and bring them from illness to wellness. Y'all can DM me if anybody has any questions. Y'all are welcome to write to me, or even write to Amit and he'll forward them to me. And I had a really good time chatting with you, Amit.
Same here, Rashi. It was amazing. And thank you so much for being on this session with me.
My pleasure.
Have an awesome Sunday and catch up soon with you.
Yeah, hopefully after this lockdown. Guys, be safe. Be happy.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.
So guys, that was Dr. Rashi Khatri Punjabi, expert in an MD in orofacial pain and TMG disorders. There was really interesting and an insightful session that we had with her. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining in on the Soul to Soul sessions with AB. And look out for the upcoming sessions that I'm going to have. And I'm going to get in more and more interesting people and experts who are going to talk about physical well-being, mental and emotional well-being, and spiritual well-being. Take care and have an amazing, amazing Sunday.